What's going on, guys? I'm here in the new kitchen, and the first meal that I'm going to be cooking here and showing you guys is chicken tenders. Now, if you've been watching the cooking videos for a while now, you know that I don't just make basic foods. I've always got to do something to put a little bit of a unique twist on it, and there's a couple of things that I'm going to be doing with these chicken tenders. So the first thing, I'm not sure how good you can see over there, but that sitting on the counter, that black thing, is an air fryer. So I'm not going to be deep frying these chicken tenders or cooking them in the oven or pan frying, nothing like that. They're going to go in the air fryer. So maybe they'll be a little bit more healthy, but not really, because the other twist is that instead of using regular breading, I'm going to be using frosted flakes for the breadcrumbs. So the chicken is going to have a bit of a more sweet and savory taste to it, hopefully. But yeah, let's get started. All right, so we've got our 4 stations set up here. We've got our chicken, and then our flour. Then we're going to put it in the egg wash, and then we're going to lay it right here on top of the breadcrumbs. Now, for the seasoning, you can use pretty basic seasoning, like seasoning salt, salt, pepper, whatever you want. I have a blend here which is mostly salt and pepper, and then I added a little bit of cayenne pepper for color and for spice as well. If you still want to get the color without making it too spicy, you could add paprika instead. So we're going to be mixing these spices in with the flour. Just go ahead and mix that together. All right, and now we'll start dipping chicken. I'm probably going to end up doing multiple batches of this because, well, in the air fryer, you don't want to layer your chicken on top of each other because then it won't cook correctly. So I'm probably going to have to do multiple just because of that. I only have a 5.5 liter air fryer. Now, when you get over to your breadcrumbs or frosted flakes in this case, you want to really press the chicken into it so that it picks up all of those breadcrumbs or frosted flakes in this case. And so that's what a finished tender should look like, more or less. Well, finished before it goes into the air fryer. You obviously don't want to eat a raw chicken tender. So we'll give this one some flour and some egg, and then some cornflakes. Flour. Get 2 hands involved here so we can go faster. Egg, cornflake. Alright, and there we go. Here's our breaded chicken tenders. Now, before we throw this into our air fryer basket, you do want to give it a little bit of vegetable oil. You want to just coat the outside of it. You don't need a whole lot. Like, this is obviously way less oil than if we were pan frying it or if we were going to be deep frying it, certainly. But this is literally the only oil that's going to be used in your air fryer. So I like to get both sides. Basically, just do it like this. So that's one side. And then I'm going to put these face down into the basket. And again, don't stack them. You only want to line the bottom of them. You don't want multiple layers of chicken on top of each other, because then they're not going to cook correctly. So just lay these all down. Might have to do a little bit of Tetris to get this last guy in there. Let's see, move these over. Move these over. Bam, there's the last one. There we go. So let's throw that in the air fryer now. All air fryers are more or less the same. Only difference is how much they hold in their basket and maybe the controls on the panel. Mine's an Insignia, so the settings I'm going to be using are specific to Insignia. You know, I was an ex-Best Buy employee, so I got lots of cheap Insignia crap. But anyway, for mine, just turn it on, and then there's a mode button over here. So lets you select the mode, and hey look, the one with chicken drumsticks, that's the mode for chicken. So I've already done wings in the air fryer before, and they came out all right. So this is going to be 20 minutes at 360 degrees. And then listen to that baby whirl. All right, so let's come back in 20 minutes and see how that comes out. You know, I almost just did you guys a huge disservice because my tendies are almost cooked, but I just realized I don't have any honey mustard in the house to use on them. But luckily, I know how to make honey mustard. So let me show you guys how to do that real quick. In case you're in a similar situation to me, almost done with your tendies and no honey mustard to put on them, which you have to put on them. I mean, some people, they put ketchup, they put barbecue sauce on them. I don't know what's wrong with people that do this to their tendies. Maybe they're heathens or something. But we're going to make honey mustard. So the main base for honey mustard, believe it or not, is actually mayonnaise. Kind of the case with a lot of sauces like this. So we're going to start off with that. You're going to want about maybe 1/3 to half of a cup of mayonnaise. I'm just going to sort of measure by using heaping tablespoons. And then we're going to want a couple of tablespoons of yellow mustard. See, I think this one has to be opened. I don't think I've even... Yep, haven't opened this one yet. All right, and then we'll get a couple tablespoons of this. Then we're going to need some of the brown spicy mustard. I believe this needs to be opened as well. Look at this. I have all of this fresh store-bought mustard, but no honey mustard. What was I thinking? All day I wanted tendies and never did I get the honey mustard. Alright, so we got our spicy mustard. And then we're going to need some honey. Now this is something that you'll sort of add and adjust depending on your taste. I guess everything is like that, right? You add or adjust depending on your taste. And I'll do an overflowing spoonful. All right, and let's start mixing this up now. We'll add a pinch of salt. Ooh, that's already tasting good. I'm going to do truffle salt instead. You know, kick things up a notch. Let's get the lid back on this mayo. Some paprika for color. Of course, you can use cayenne if you want. And then I like to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar, just to give it almost a bit of like a twang to it, you know, like a little bit of sour. Not a whole lot, just a small amount, maybe half a tablespoon. And now this should start taking on a slightly different color. Oh, we're spilling a bit on the side. Let's try to get some of those mayonnaise clumps out. Make sure everything blends evenly. All right, let's try this out. Needs a bit more honey for my taste. There we go. That ought to be plenty. Now that is honey mustard. All right, so the first batch is finished. I just heard the little beep go off on my air fryer. So I'm gonna get this next batch started up, and then we'll just do a quick switcheroo. Now this batch, the pieces of chicken are a little bit thicker, I think. Like, you know, they're a little bit meatier. So I might add an extra minute or two to the air fryer. Let's see how they came out, though, because that's what's going to determine it. And I added slightly more cornflakes this time, so I'm hoping that I can really coat them, get them on there, and not run out like I did before. Like this one already kind of looks like it needs some more love. I think there's more chicken in here too. It's like, I don't know, packed closer together. Maybe I'll have to do a third, like half batch. We shall see how I can get them to fit in the air fryer. Press these down into the flakes. They're already taking up so much more room on my plate. Alrighty, so this is actually a few days later. These are the leftover tendies that I made. This is basically what's left over. My footage, or my camera basically ran out of space, so a lot of footage was lost, but we got the homemade tendies and the homemade honey mustard. I don't think any of the honey mustard making is going to make it into the final video, but it's whatever. Maybe I'll make another video sometime showing you guys how to make this stuff, because this is really good. Like honey mustard, you gotta have honey mustard for tendies. So let's see how they taste. Now, like I said, this is a couple days later, but they're still pretty crispy on the outside. We got to see how juicy they are on the inside, make sure that they didn't dry out, because of course that's a pretty common thing to happen with chicken, especially if it's air fried. So let's dip it in our honey mustard. Let's see how it is. Yeah, that's still really good. It was better on the first day that I made it. It looks like it's dried out a little bit. Like if you look on the inside, it's not super dry, you know, it hasn't turned like that weird kind of like grayish color that chicken turns when it gets dry, but it's not super juicy like it was when I first made it. Like when I first made it, it almost tasted like it was deep fried, but obviously it wasn't, it was air fried. So I would say that this is pretty good. There's some things I might do to improve the recipe. Like I might try brining the chicken before I like bread it and everything like that. Let me know in the comments below any ideas you can think of to improve this recipe. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.